What's up, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the Digital Tour de Swiss 5. Today we have 33 kilometers covering a total elevation of 1,512 meters. So if you know anything about cycling, that is quite a lot of climbing for the amount of distance that these riders have to complete. That's quite a flattish stage before the climb. When the climb starts, it's absolutely full gas. Anything between 8 and 12% going up the climb. So the last third of the race, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, you can see it's flat-ish until the last third of the race, and when that climb starts, it's absolutely full gas to the finish. Not a lot of slipstreaming happening up the climbs, but if we have a look today, 355 riders taken to the start line. So today's fan race really well attended. We have confirmation that there are 3 Pro Touch riders in today's race. We have Gustav Besson, who finished fourth place on day 1, alongside teammates Kent Main and Callum Ormiston. If you look at the screen, you can see that we are actually currently following JP Lloyd, who is currently in 2nd place from Team Office Guru Racing. Office Guru committing 3 riders to today's race: JP Lloyd and Andrew Edwards, and the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner, Travis Barrett, attending today's race. So we have quite a big lineup. Definitely some good riders, South African riders nonetheless, starting today's fan race. And once again, Dualhof Wine Estate sponsoring a case of wine for the first South Africans across the line. JP Lloyd currently in 2nd spot from Team Office Guru Racing. He is very well known for being a big powerhouse for their Office Guru Under 23 racing team, and I'm sure he's just trying to get a head start before the big climb. It's going to be interesting to see once they hit the big climb who's gone out too hard and who is going to be making up some time. Some familiar names we see down the ladder here. If you look at Gustav Besson, currently in 3rd position, trying to catch up to JP Lloyd from Team Office Guru, Gustav Besson from Team Pro Touch Continental Team. So Gustav trying to catch up to JP Lloyd, 2 South Africans. Once they get together, if Gustav does manage to catch JP Lloyd, they might look at working together. But we'll see what happens if Gustav does manage to bridge that gap. So JP Lloyd up the road, currently in 2nd position, winning out of all the South African riders currently. We have Ken Main just behind Gustav Besson there. If we compare him, he's 140 meters behind Gustav at the moment. We're just in from team owner, Jamie Taylor from Team Office Guru. Andrew Edwards didn't start today's race. He had some technical difficulties trying to connect his trainer onto the platform. It does happen. Unfortunately, Andrew Edwards not able to start today's race. Thanks for letting us know. And what's your name again? Sorry, Jamie. Jamie Taylor, team owner of the Office Guru Under 23 racing team. So unfortunately, Andrew Edwards not able to start today's race due to some technical difficulties, but we do have 2 of his teammates, JP Lloyd and the Cape Argus Cycle Tour winner Travis Barrett. If you look down the ladder here on the left-hand side, the winner currently in today's race, G. Depress from France, currently pushing 6.6 watts per kilo, 6.8 watts per kilo. So pushing out some good power there. In 2nd position, JP Lloyd from Team Office Guru Racing, the South African Team Office Guru Racing Under 23 racing team. In 3rd place, the South African Gustav Besson, finishing in 4th place on day 1. So Gustav, quite familiar with what's going down today. He did take part in the day 1 race, which I just mentioned, and finishing in a good 4th overall. The best place South African, thanks to Dualhof Wine Estate for sponsoring a case of wine for the 1st place South African. Ken Main, first time on this platform. He's very familiar to the Zwift platform. He's been doing a lot of training, a lot of racing on Zwift, but he's new to Ruby, and today will be his first race on Ruby, and he's currently pushing 5.1 watts per kilo. So he has been training on the indoor trainer, like we mentioned in yesterday's race. This virtual indoor training, very different to the way we ride and race on the road. So it's something you have to adapt to. So Kent Main has been doing a lot of indoor training, and I'm sure he is familiar with how this virtual racing happens. So T. Hanlon, we saw him in the first day and the second day. We saw him up there in the top 10 positions from the UK. T. Hanlon from the UK. He was up there. I think he finished 12th overall on the first day. And yesterday he was down the ranks, but I think he's a climber. So you can see these riders that are committed to riding all 5 days of the virtual Tour de Suisse, because all these names are familiar. Jay Hennessy, he won yesterday. He finished in first place. Currently in sixth place. He finished just ahead of HB Kruger from Team Pro Touch. Not too long. It's just a couple of seconds ahead of HB Kruger. So he won yesterday's race in sixth place overall. Currently, Verini Elfin. We don't know where he's from because his country's flag is not displayed there at the top. But he actually did finish second place on day one. Yesterday he finished somewhere in the top 20. So he was right up there yesterday. But you can see who the climbers are and who the sprinters are, or the flat stage riders are, if you compare these type of results. So day one, lots of climbing. Bruni Elfin right up there, second position yesterday. A little bit down the ladder, finishing between, I think he was 25th yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But now on day 3, he's in 7th place. He's waiting for the climb. He knows how many watts. He was pushing anything between 6 and 7 watts per kilo on the first stage. So he's definitely committed to trying to finish all 5 stages. He's quite a familiar name when it comes to this virtual racing. Travis Barrett. Let's take a look down at his avatar. There he is. He is going currently up a 2.3% climb. Travis Barrett, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner 2020. Just out sprinting Clint Hendricks on the line of this year's Cape Town Cycle Tour. Clint Hendricks is a past winner of the Cape Town Cycle Tour, but Travis Barrett just edging out Clint Hendricks to win the Cape Town Cycle Tour this year. Part of the Office Guru Under 23 racing team. It's great to see the Office Guru Under 23 racing guys getting on board, getting involved, and taken to the start line. Unfortunately, Andrew Edwards, who was meant to start today, had some technical difficulties and he won't be starting today's race. We have Travis Barrett and JP Lloyd representing the Office Guru Racing Under 23 guys today. A big shout out, there's 2 more stages left after today's race. A big shout out to all the South African cyclists to get involved, get on board, get to the start line. 2 days left, and let's battle it out for the case of wine. It's proudly sponsored by the Duurhof Wine Estate. So thanks to Duurhof Wine coming on board and providing a prize for the best placed South African. Travis Barrett just sitting in there tightly with the guy there, Jay Rogers. Is that the Colombian flag? Come on, guys, correct me. Let me know in the comment section below. What flag is that? To all the people that know their geography, who did geography at school. I didn't do geography, but Jay Rogers. They are. I think that's the Colombian flag. So Travis Barrett tucked in nicely there in the slipstream. If these two start to work together, they can maybe work their way up. Travis Barrett and Jay Rogers, they can maybe work their way up the ladder here. So Travis Barrett and JP Lloyd, both 20 years old, so still very young. The nice thing about this race, which we mentioned in the last 2 days, if you haven't been following, is that the results of this race get compared to the pro race, which has just happened about an hour ago. And what happens is they get ranked within the World Tour cyclists. So all the World Tour cyclists raced on the exact same routes about an hour ago. And Travis Barrett and JP Lloyd from the Office Guru Under 23 racing team, 20 years old. We're getting some wording, we're just getting some information from these guys, about these guys from Jamie Taylor. Thanks for the communication, Jamie. This makes it very useful. Attempt added. Oh, okay, Jamie. This is a nice one. Travis currently leads the world's worst attempt at a beard in lockdown. That would be an amazing sight to see. So if you want to share that with us, Jamie, I can maybe put it on the screen here. So just for a bit of banter and a little bit of a laugh, if you want to send us a photo of Travis Barrett's beard, apparently it's the worst attempt in a beard growth during lockdown. We'd love to see that. We can definitely show our viewers, but thanks for sharing that information. While we're actually talking about his beard, he's actually getting a little bit distanced from his rival here. He's dropping the wheel slightly. He needs to just put in a big effort to try and get back onto Jay Rogers' wheel. Someone out there, help me with this country's flag. I'm guessing Colombia. I don't do geography at school, so my flags are not my strong point. But Travis Barrett currently in 9th place. Just getting overtaken there by another rider from Germany. That's definitely a German flag. A 110% German flag right there. S. Hachenbach, is that right? Hachenbrach? Jeez, that's almost as bad as my surname. But anyway, Travis Barrett getting overtaken by a German rider right now. He moves into 10th place overall. If we go up to the front of the race once again, G. Deprez from France, definitely a French flag. He's from France, currently in first position, 505 meters ahead of Office Guru Under 23 Racing, JP Lloyd. So JP putting in a good effort here. 140, currently 150 meters behind Gustav Besson, putting in a big effort here, 5 watts per kilo. He's putting in a bit of a rest on the downhill. Gustav Besson was really good on day one, where he judged his effort. He was riding anything between 5 and 6 watts per kilo, but he really knows how to judge his effort well. We saw the pro race today, won by Nicholas Roach in a time of 1 hour and 5 minutes. So you can see today's race slightly longer than the past 2 stages. It's definitely because of that massive climb that these riders have to go up at the end of the race. It goes up Nufenenpass, if that's pronounced correctly. Nufenenpass, yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, it goes up a massive climb. So these riders have a big task ahead of them. I think for now they need to judge their efforts quite nicely, and when they hit the climb, it's going to be a flat-out effort. It's going to be who can actually judge the climb the best. We do have a photo in from Jamie. Let's actually have a look at this. Oh, Jamie, that's actually harsh. I think that's quite a good beard. You guys can be the judge. Let me actually put this in front of you. So Jamie Taylor says that is the worst attempt for a beard during lockdown. Do you agree? Do you actually disagree? Come on, I'm going to hold it there for a few more seconds. I'll bring it up later again. But Jamie reckons that's the worst attempt for a beard growth during lockdown. Yes, no, maybe? I think that's quite good. I mean, I've been growing my beard for about 28 years now, and it is, I still don't see anything. So thanks for showing that, Jamie. That's quite a good laugh for today's race. But that is Travis Barrett, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner 2020. Someone just did comment on my feed, yeah? Looks like Colombia. Yes, it's Colombia. Yay! Thanks, guys. So I did get that right. It was the Colombian flag. So Travis Barrett there riding with a few Colombians. So Jay Rojas does actually come from Colombia. Travis Barrett there catching up to Jay Rojas. I'll call him Rojas for now. No, Rojas currently just distancing himself from Travis Barrett. So Travis, the Colombian, is dropping you. We need to catch up. The gap's opening up, 62 meters now. So that's looking Travis Barrett falling down the ladder here. Just needs to hold his own. The massive climb is coming, so there's still a lot to race for. T. Hanlon, we saw him in day 1 and day 2. He was about in 15th position on day 1. So T. Hanlon from the UK. Showing that he's also dedicated to the cause, and he will be riding all 5 stages, I'm guessing. Hopefully he will be, because we've seen him in all 3 stages so far. Kent Main, currently in 4th position, currently pushing 4 watts per kilo. Kent Main finishing 4th overall in the Tour of Rwanda this year. If you know anything about Rwanda, it is a country in Central Africa, very small country compared to its neighboring countries, but it's right next to the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Small country, but if you compare it to any European climbs, it can compare to anything compared to Switzerland, France, the Alps in France. Climbs are massive. So Kent really showing that he is a pure outright climber, which actually might suit him today. So if he has his Tour of Rwanda legs on him today, I'm sure he'll be putting in a good effort and finishing very close to the podium today. Gustav Besson, also a very light, powerful climber, so he should be looking at using the climb to his advantage. He knows how to suffer, he knows how to time trial, he really does know how to put in a good effort on a climb as well. So here, Gustav Besson currently in 3rd position. It sometimes does this, the system. It's not me that is trying to stop it from following. But let's go back to Kent Main. So Kent Main on a slight drag here, 8.3%. So these are these small little drags before the big climb of the day that can put the sting in the legs. So these riders got a few little steep little sections before the actual real pass starts. Like I said earlier, Nicholas Roach, the World Tour rider, winning the pro race today. And he finished in about 1 hour and 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It could be a little bit more. So these riders, if you compare to the pro guys winning today, they're finishing anything between 10 and 15 minutes after the World Tour guys. So if we put that into perspective, today's finishing time close to about 1 hour and 50 minutes. These guys have been racing for 26 minutes currently, and we just see Jay Hennessy coming past there, pushing a solid 5 watts per kilo. So Jay Hennessy from the UK won yesterday's race, just ahead of HP Kruger. HP Kruger taking home the prize of a case of Duurhof wine. I'm just wondering, he did comment in the comment section here a bit earlier, so I'm going to ask him now if he's still watching. Javier, are you choosing red wine or white wine from the Duurhof wine estate? Let us know. Let us know. Are you a white wine drinker or a red wine drinker? Powerful ride yesterday by HP Kruger. He finished just ahead of Ryan Terry from Team Office Guru Racing Under 23. Ryan Terry finishing in a solid 5th position yesterday. So the South African guy is getting involved and sticking it to the rest of the world. Jay Hennessy winning yesterday's race. He's currently in 5th place. Let's go to the rider just ahead, Kent Main. Just about 60 meters ahead of Jay Hennessy. So Kent, you can see, is actually very strong on the climbs. You can see he's putting a gap into his rival Jay Hennessy, the winner of yesterday's race. You can see that distance there climbing slightly is 90 meters, 99 meters, 100 meters. So Kent on the attack, pushing a solid 5 watts per kilo, 4.95 watts per kilo. So if you look at his watts in the top left-hand corner, 340 watts. Like I mentioned in the previous days, these riders are very calculated. They are between amateur and the World Tour professionals. So they are continental level riders. So they train scientifically. They train professionally. So they know exactly what their FTP is, which is their functional threshold power, and they know exactly how many watts they can average for 1 hour. So this roughly about a 1 hour effort, maybe just over 1 hour 15, they know exactly how many watts they can push over that sustained time. So 1 hour 15, they know exactly what watts can get them to the finish. So they'll be watching their computers, they'll be watching their average watts, the average cadence, the average speed, and they will definitely be watching that watts per kilo in the top left-hand corner there. So Kent sticking to about 300 watts. You can see him peaking at about 340, 350 watts. Kent in his guessing now, don't really know this for sure, anything between 66 and 68 kilograms. If his coach is watching or anyone who knows Kent's weight, you can share some secrets and you can start doing some calculations. Devin Main, his brother, is commenting in the comment section. So thank you guys for getting involved. Thank you for commenting and watching the channel. Yeah, we've got some banter going on in the comment section. Javier Kruger, currently based in Cape Town. He says he prefers red wine, so definitely a red wine drinker. That is kind of a cyclist thing, red wine. Never really come across any white wine drinkers. And Javier says, nothing beats a Duurhof red. I agree. Thanks for sharing, Javier. So you're a red wine drinker. We have someone else commenting, hey Devin, what is Kent using for a power meter? ? I know Kent's power usually runs low. Thanks, Aeroman. Oh, Aeroman, thanks for joining us, Aeroman. Aeroman, very passionate about cycling. He is based in South Africa. He's an American guy. Got a very good result quite recently in the, what was that race? Come on, Aeroman, let us know. It was, you finished third in the recent, it ended up Statfontein. What is that race called? I'm thinking Dome to Dome, but it was not Dome to Dome. Dome to Dome is the old name. It was Bergendala. Yes, that's it. Bergendala. Well done, Aeroman. 3rd place in Bergendala. Miles, kindly please explain more on watts. Sure. So watts, in terms of cycling, is the amount of power or the amount of force that you're pushing down to the cranks. And cycling revolves around how much power you can push down to the cranks relative to your current body weight. So how that works is how kind of your how people judge your level of cycling is how many watts you can push per kilogram of body weight, like I just said. So what you would do is the universal number that we would kind of gauge is your FTP, which is your functional threshold power. Your functional threshold power stands for the average amount of power you can push for 1 hour. Over a 1 hour period, what is the average amount of watts? That amount of watts that you can push for 1 hour is then divided by your weight, and it gives you a watts per kilogram. Your watts per kilogram and your FTP gives you a universal range, or your universal number of how good you are in cycling. And that ultimately becomes your CV. It becomes your bragging rights to your mates. And that's kind of it. So your FTP, your watts per kilogram, is essentially your kind of selling point as a cyclist. So these riders today, their FTPs are anything between, let me guess. So these amateur pros, anything between 5 and 6 watts per kilo. The pros pushing anything between 6 and 7 watts per kilo, if I'm not mistaken. A guy who's more scientific, who knows, who does coach these type of riders, can give us some of their feedbacks. Tough call between Gustav and Kent, both nice and strong in the climb. Thanks for sharing, Brad. It's going to be a tough one at the end of the day. JP Lloyd also looking quite strong. I think he's getting a head start before the climb. It was Bergendaler. Thanks for sharing, Eraman. Bergendaler, you finished third. I think Travis Barrett was also up there. He was second, if I'm not mistaken. Or he might have... Travis Barrett won the Bergendaler. He did. I remember that. Second place was TEG. I just can't remember who the rider was, but it definitely was TEG. Eraman says he's fat and happy now. We are following Kent Main on screen, getting a bit distracted from the race by trying to explain all this stuff. But guys, if that did make sense with the FTP and the power to weight ratio, let me know. I'm happy to elaborate or to get someone in to be able to explain it a bit better. But thanks for sharing, Minky de Klerk. That was a very good question. James Velo, awesome commentary. Oh, thanks, James. James Pops Faree joined us on the first day. He put in a very good effort. He was in the top 20 positions there, 15th to 16th place. Thanks for joining, James. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the comment. Awesome commentary. Thank you. Let's change screens here. Let's go from Kent Main slipping down the ranks there. Jay Hennessy just putting in a big attack there. He's attacking Kent Main at the moment. He's trying to bridge the gap to Gustav Besson. Kent is 500 meters behind his teammate Gustav Besson from Team Pro Touch. Gustav putting a very good effort there. Jay Hennessy now just ahead of Kent Main. Let's go to Gustav Besson. Oh, Gustav starting the climb. You can see there 8%, the top left-hand corner, 8% climb at the moment. And he's just catching up to JP Lloyd. Oh, JP from Office Guru Racing, under 23. Just putting in too much effort at the start. He is now showing that the effort in the beginning is, it's not looking good for JP Lloyd. You can see he's going to be falling down the ladder. But he's putting in a good watts per kilo there. But Gustav Besson catching up to JP. Both South African riders, they know each other very well. JP Lloyd, a good time trialist. If I'm not mistaken, he finished on the podium at this year's under 23 South African Time Trial Championships. I'm guessing he was second. He could be third. Behind who was the winner of the under 23 SA Time Trial. I can see him in my head, but I just can't put the names to the face right now. Someone can send me a WhatsApp and remind me of his name. He does ride for Team Alpha Bodyworks from Cape Town. Just can't remember the name. But JP Lloyd and Gustav Besson now joining forces. Will they work together, or will Gustav put in an attack and drop JP Lloyd? Oh, there we go. Gustav Besson putting in a, I wouldn't say an attack, but I think his tempo is just slightly higher than JP Lloyd at the moment. So JP Lloyd starting out a little bit too hard, Currently 20.97 Ks into the race. Gustav Besson, JP Lloyd. Gustav distancing JP. So you can see the Pro Touch rider, Gustav Besson, slightly ahead of JP Lloyd at the moment. And pushing a good solid 5.5 watts per kilo. This Dualhof wine on the cards for today is looking very tight here. We can see Kent Main. Kent Main knows how to judge his efforts. He would have known to save himself on the flatter sections is definitely going to save him for going up the climb today. So sometimes the system does this, guys. I'm really sorry. It lags a bit, so it doesn't follow the rider, but we can see we're back on board here. Kent Main, Team Pro Touch Continental, pushing a solid 5.4 watts per kilo. He knows how to judge his effort. Like I was saying before we interrupted by the lag in the system. Kent would have known his effort, he would have judged his effort, he would have kept it consistent on the flats, and he knows when he hits the climb, he needs to push anything between 5 and 6 watts per kilo. He knows how to climb. Kent Main, 4th at this year's Tour of Rwanda. Rwanda just climbs in Rwanda. He knows exactly how to ride a climb. Hennessy, yesterday's winner, Jay Hennessy, you can see that he's just falling back. He attacked Kent Main just before the climb started, and you can see he's slightly falling. So Jay Hennessy, winner of stage 2. There we go. Thanks, Jamie, for filling me in there on the information. South African Time Trial Championships this year. It was Byron Munton. That's the name I couldn't remember. Byron Munton, second year in a row. He was the South African Time Trial Under 23 champion. Second place was Mark Pritson. Forgot about Mark Pritson. Currently riding for the NTT Continental team. In third place was JP Lloyd. So JP Lloyd knows how to time trial, so he would have tried to put in a big effort before the climb. Not so much an out-and-out climber, but he knows how to judge his effort. So he was third at this year's JP Lloyd. Yeah, we see him on the screen. JP Lloyd, third at the South African Time Trial Championships 2020. So he knows how to time trial. He knows how to judge his effort over an hour. And we can see how today, 37 minutes into this race today, JP Lloyd currently in third position. Gustav Besson came from behind and went straight past him, but JP Lloyd, you can see that amount of distance coming down. Oh, watch out for the car. There's a car there, JP. Nice one, sticking right. Car going around quite nicely there. So he's bringing Gustav back. Did Gustav put in an attack, and now he's putting some sting in their legs? But that Dualhof wine, very close contended race at the moment. We have Gustav Besson, JP Lloyd, and Kent Main within 400 meters of each other. Kent Main there. Oh, come on. There we go. Kent Main, 5 watts per kilo currently. He's trying to bridge the gap to JP Lloyd. 382 meters behind JP Lloyd at the moment, but it is coming down. Where's the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner? Travis Barrett, currently in 10th spot. So we can see there he's being nice and consistent. So Travis Barrett showing that he's putting in a good solid effort, currently riding at 5 watts per kilo. So all these top 10 riders currently riding anything between 5 and 5.5 watts per kilo. We saw the Pro Tour guys or the World Tour guys an hour before this racing on the exact same course. When I was watching them, they were pushing anything between 6 and 7 watts per kilo. So if we judge it on a kind of performance level, what I've kind of seen over the last 3 days is that the World Tour guys compared to this fan race, in terms of the top 5 guys in the fan race compared to the top 5 in the World Tour race, it's literally maybe 1 watt per kilo difference. So that's, if we're judging it, that's kind of the difference between placing in the fan race and placing in the top 10 on the World Tour race. So that's quite an interesting fact for me, is that it's only 1 watt per kilo. If you can push 1 watt per kilogram higher than what, well, not me, but if these guys can push 1 watt per kilo more than what they're doing at the moment, they can kind of enter into that World Tour kind of level. We are getting some feedback in the comment section. Oh wow, we just got some inside info from Kent Main's coach. Kent's race weight. Can I share this, Devin? Are you sure? Are you 100% sure that I can share this information? Because this is quite sacred information when you're coming to cycling and kind of the information. But we'll share it. Thanks for sharing, Devin. Devon Main is Ken's coach, and his brother, in fact. So Devon Main, Ken Main, you can put two and two together. Tells us that Ken's race weight is 67 kilograms. But is he on race weight now? That's the question. So Kent Main, when he races, I'm guessing that's what he would have been at Tour of Rwanda. So Kent Main's race weight 67 kilos. So he is mid-range 60s, anything between, so higher mid-range. Let's call it mid-range. Kent Main race weight 67 kilos. But maybe we can get Devon Main to share his FTP. That would be quite interesting. Devon, what is Ken's FTP? Giving out all the secrets here. Let's just read through some of the comments here quickly. Bloody cars, yeah. Harbia, that is correct. Luckily, we don't have to worry about the cars in these virtual races, but they're still there. They just remind us, the cars that drive past us in this virtual world remind us that we have to actually still be aware of cars out on the road. So it's actually not a bad thing. But yeah, we're following the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner 2020, Travis Barrett. I would advise him to maybe change his kit. That kit doesn't look too great. Travis, I'm thinking maybe the plain white kit with a little bit of blue stripe down the back. If we go to Kent Main, we'll see that kit in play. So if we have a look at Kent Main's kit here, you can see it's the plain white with the green. Jamie, tell your boys to get this plain white kit and put a blue stripe down the back. I think that'll be a lot neater. But yeah, this guy, let's see who's going. The G Depress. He's been out front kind of most of today. You can see he's putting a good effort on the climb, putting in some big watts. 5 watts per kilo there, 6 watts per kilo, touching 7 watts per kilo, but he's freewheeling a little bit on this, trying to recover on a little bit of a downhill. But he's been putting in a good solid effort today. I'm not going to lie. He went straight from the start line and he went full gas, and he put a little bit of time into the boys on the flatter sections, but you can see he's holding no prisoners out. He's putting in a good effort. 10 watts per kilo. He's attacking himself here. Is he attacking himself? Gustav Besson still on a little bit of a climb. There's a little bit of a downhill coming, but the G Depress, I think that's how you say it in French, because he's from France. The Frenchman out front, almost a kilometer ahead of Gustav Besson at the moment, and JP Lloyd. Gustav Besson and JP Lloyd staying together. JP Lloyd creeping his way back to Gustav Besson. That is a brilliant effort. These two riders are going to be battling it out for the Duurhof wine, the case of Duurhof wine. I'm guessing they're going to choose red again. HB Kruger choosing a case of red wine after yesterday's win in the best placed South African rider on the virtual Tour de Suisse stage 2. Yesterday we saw JP Lloyd, not JP Lloyd, we saw Ryan Terry come home in 5th position, JP Lloyd racing right now. And we saw Calvin Bienica from Team Office Guru, just made too many mistakes now, We saw Calvin Bienica from Pro Touch Continental Team also taking part in yesterday's race, finishing in 27th place, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the 20s. JP Lloyd now racing today's race from Team Office Crew Racing Under 23 on Gustav Besson's wheel. These guys know each other. They know the efforts that they can put, and they know the efforts that they can put in. JP Lloyd just trying to stick onto Gustav Besson up this little, well, not a drag. They're actually going down. It's a little bit of a rest before the climb kicks up again. 44 minutes into today's race, so definitely the hurt in the legs is starting to come, and these guys starting to hurt up this climb. Nicholas Roach winning the pro race today. That happened 1 hour before this race, so we'll take the time of the amateur race, which is the fan race, which is what you're currently watching, and we'll be integrating their times into the World Tour riders' times. I think it was anything between an hour and 5 minutes and an hour and 10 minutes. So finishing time for today, I'm predicting 1 hour, 15 minutes. What do you guys think? Let's go back to the comment section and see what the guys are saying there. Ooh, Javier is asking, what is Ken's lockdown weight? That is interesting. Who knows? Who knows? Not much racing happening at the moment, so you never know what the guys might be doing. Their doing more than one cheat meal per week. You never know what they're drinking. Either Cokes, cream sodas, going from the Coke Zeros to the Sprite Zeros, replacing it with the cream sodas and the Fantas. You never know. So what is the lockdown weight? I don't think this guy's power meter is calibrated correctly. Who's that? Who's that, Javier? Are you referring to the guy who's winning? Go Gustav, please. I need to share some wine, please. I need. Okay, that's a good comment. They're just asking if they want to, asking Gustav to share some wine. Obviously, the wine will only be shared, will only be delivered after lockdown, when the deliveries are open again, which I'm guessing might actually be next week, Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we're looking at JP Lloyd's screen, currently pushing 7 watts per kilo, 6 watts per kilo, 5 watts per kilo, 4, 5. So he's putting in a good effort. He's putting in his time trial effort. Third at the Under 23 National Time Trial Championships, Under 23. So he knows how to put in a good solid effort over 1 hour. He is not unfamiliar with pain. All time trialists know how to experience pain. It's just about mental focus. So Gustav Basson attacking JP Lloyd, riding ahead. He's 56 meters ahead of JP Lloyd at the moment. Kent Main putting in a good solid cuff, coming straight from behind. He was 360 meters behind JP Lloyd just a moment ago. But you can see he's slowly but surely bringing JP Lloyd back in. And Kent Main showing his dominance up a climb. Kent, winner of the Tour of Good Hope in 2017, where he actually handed it to me up the Pole Monument climb. He put in a 1 minute in 3.6 kilometers. Kent Main put in 1 minute into me up the Pole Monument climb in Pole. And he won the Tour of Good Hope 2017. 2018, he represented the Dimension Data Continental team. He was based in Lucca in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. It might not have been Lucca, it might have been another town, but he was based in Italy for the whole year of 2018 and 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But I need to get clued up on all this information. But he rode for the Dimension Data Under 23 team, stagiaired for the World Tour team, and now rides for the Team Pro Touch Continental Cycling team, racing on the Africa and Asia circuits. Competed in the Tour of Rwanda at the start of this year, like I mentioned earlier, finishing in 4th overall. So really knows how to go up a climb. Which is to his advantage. He's slowly but surely bringing in JP Lloyd, 116 meters behind, 15, 14. So that distance between him and JP Lloyd is coming down. Gustav Basson is going for it. He is in second position at the moment, and he is actually bringing back G. Depries, the Frenchman. The Frenchman, has he gone out too hard too soon? Is his power meter calibrated, as Javier mentioned earlier? We don't know. All we know is that he is winning at the moment. Javier Kruger leaving another comment. Had a pro rider drop out because his trainer was not calibrated correctly earlier today. It was overreading. So did he drop out or did he get kicked out? That is the question. That's it's very controversial, this virtual racing, virtual training type of setup, because people do tend, not everyone, but there is a chance that people can cheat. In terms of cheating, they put their weight quite low, so lower than what they actually are. And what tends to happen is that their power to weight ratio obviously becomes higher, because now when they're pushing 300 watts, for example, if they're pushing 300 watts, if they were 60 kilograms, that would be 5 watts per kilo. 6, 12, 18, yeah, okay, 5 watts per kilo. And let's say now they change their weight to 50 kilograms. Then you're dividing 300 by 50. And then they all of a sudden go from 5 watts to 6 watts per kilo. So there is a chance that people can sometimes cheat, or if their trainer is not calibrated, then their power is overreading, which then they're pushing more watts relative to their weight, which means that their power to weight goes up as well. So it's all about taking your current power, dividing it by your current weight, and that gives you your power to weight ratio. So if those numbers are out, it's obviously going to be given incorrect reading to the system, and then what happens is your power to weight ratio relative to the other riders is out of sync. So it's about being honest, it's about taking your correct weight and judging it according to your correct power, which is obviously dictated by your virtual, or your, not your virtual, it's dictated by your watt meter or your controllable, or what's it called, your smart trainer. So a smart trainer kind of communicates to the system how many watts you're pushing. So if that's out, then it's obviously going to give you an incorrect reading. So it's about power to weight. The Frenchman currently in first position, pushing 7 watts per kilo, going down to 6. That is a good solid effort. We saw that type of power, anything between 6 and 7 watts per kilo, being pushed out by the World Tour riders who raced on the same course about an hour ago. So the Frenchman putting in a good solid effort. Let's just take it for real. Let's not assume that his power meter is not reading Hobby. That's actually quite harsh. So let's assume everything is correct for the purpose of today's race. And we can see this guy currently in the lead. So Gustav Besson, he was a little bit further behind the Frenchman a couple of moments ago. So you can see he's slowly crawling his way back towards the Frenchman up this climb. But Gustav putting in a good effort here, 6 watts per kilo. Sure. Gustav is motoring. 6 watts per kilo. If you go on your trainer right now, or you go and you try push out 6 watts per kilo for 10 minutes, guys, that is an effort. That is an effort. So these, in the fan race, we actually have been seeing the times and the efforts and the power to weight ratios being very close to the World Tour guys. So like I mentioned earlier, what I've kind of gauged is between the fan race and the World Tour race, anything between 1 watt per kilo difference. If these guys can push out 1 watt per kilo more, they'll definitely be very close to the World Tour guys' time. World Tour guys finished in 1 hour and 5 minutes, somewhere around there. If I'm not mistaken, I forgot to actually take a photo to share with you guys. But Kent Main currently in 3rd position. Let's find the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner. He was down the ranks here. Oh, we saw Kent Main. Kent Main has just overtaken JP Lloyd. We missed that one. We are too busy looking at the comment section. But JP Lloyd now in 4th position. Kent Main went straight past JP Lloyd, and now he's going after his teammate Gustav Besson. The 2 Pro Touch riders battling it out for the case of Dualhof wine. Guys, I just have to let you know, to all the viewers out there, if you want up to 50% discount on Dualhof wine, let me give you a coupon code on their site, Dualhof Wine Estate's website. You can enter this code and you can get up to 50% discount on their wine. So thanks to everyone, thanks to Dualhof Wine coming on board there. I'm getting a bit distracted here. I'm trying to look for this coupon code. It was posted on Pro Touch's Instagram page yesterday. So get your orders in, guys. Dualhof Wine coming on board and sponsoring this race, sponsoring this virtual race. Guys, the coupon code, get a pen and paper out now. I'm giving you a moment to get a pen and paper so you can put your orders in for the Dualhof wine. It will get delivered after lockdown. If I'm not mistaken, deliveries are open next week, Friday, from the 1st of May. Got a pen and paper? Are you ready? So the coupon code to get up to 50% discount on Dualhof wine delivered to your door is LD. So we go Luke Daniel, LD-0320. And that's the coupon code. That's it. LD-0320. I'll put it up here on the comment in the actual camera so you guys can see. There it is. And that's the coupon code. to get up to 50% discount on Dualhof 1. That's it. Hope you guys got it. We are with Kent Main, guys, currently in 3rd position. If we look at the distance between Kent Main and his teammate Gustav Pesson from Team Pro Touch Continental, we can see that gap's coming down. Gustav Pesson putting in an attack now. That gap's opening up, but it was 600 meters. It's gone down to 500 meters, 400 meters, 200 meters. Guys, this is unreal. Gustav Pesson putting in a big attack. He knows his teammate is on his wheel. He can see the exact same screen that we are seeing. So he knows Kent Main was closing the gap, but he's putting in a big attack now, and he is opening up the gap between him and Kent Main. Gustav Pesson now opening up the gap to Kent Main. 328 meters between Gustav and Kent for that case of wine. So the best placed South African rider on today's stage, taking home a case of Dualhof wine. JP Lloyd falling down the ladder here, still putting in a very good effort. JP Lloyd from Office Guru Racing, under 23. A shout out to all South African cyclists, vets, under 23, elites, whatever age group, to get involved, get on the start line. 2 days left, stage 4 and 5. I haven't looked at the route profiles actually just yet, but from what I can remember, looking at the routes a couple of days ago, these last 3 days have some big climbs. Switzerland is known for its climbs. We are doing the virtual tour of Swiss, guys. The virtual tour of Swiss, which means we are in Switzerland racing up these Swiss climbs, and they are massive. This is called the NUFENENPASS. NUFENENPASS. I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, but it's massive. It's almost, if you take the race, it's way over 10 Ks. Almost 13K climb that these guys are going up today. So shout out to all the South African cyclists. Get involved. I know there's a lot of vet 30 to 39 and 40 to 49 riders who are racing a lot on Zwift. The Ruvi platform is almost similar to Zwift. It's very easy to kind of grasp and it's quick to learn. So a shout out to you guys. Get involved. Get on the start line tomorrow. Stage 4 and 5. A case of Dualhof wine up for grabs. I'm sure you guys want to stick it to the elites, the South African elite pros, the Team Pro Touch and Team Office Guru Racing under 23. You guys want to stick it to the boys. Come and show the pros that the vets are just as strong. So shout out to you guys. Get on the start line tomorrow. 2 days left. How many Ks do we have? We are on 27.35 Ks. JP Lloyd, he has 6 kilometers to go. 6 kilometers to go, which means the race leader at the moment from France, G. Depress. God, I'm battling with these names. Foreign names. But luckily we just focus on the South African riders. But we do want to kind of scope the competition. Jay Hennessy, the winner of yesterday's race. He also rides for a continental team based in the UK. Don't know what team he rides for, but Jay Hennessy, winner of yesterday's race ahead of HB Kruger from Team Pro Touch Continental. T. Hanlon, we saw him on day 1. He was there on day 2 as well. He was there yesterday. He finished right up there in 12th or 13th place overall on day 1. Day 2, yesterday he was quite far down. I think he was 25th position, somewhere in the 20s. But you can definitely see the riders who are in it for all 5 days. Travis Barrett, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner, and the winner of the Bergen-Dahlia race, currently in 7th position. Also putting in a big effort. He's actually come up a placing, if I'm not mistaken. He was in 8th or 9th place early on. So putting in a big effort there to try and ride some distance into the guy just behind him. Another UK rider. Gillen from the UK. So Travis Barrett putting a little bit of distance between him and Gillen. Word just in as well. I actually didn't tell you guys earlier, but Callum Ormiston from Team Office Guru. Jeez, guys, I'm getting so confused between Office Guru and Pro Touch. But Callum Ormiston from Pro Touch Continental did not start today due to some technical difficulties. He was not able to get his trainer connected. So unfortunately, Callum Ormiston from Pro Touch Continental was not able to start today. Oh yes, thanks Jamie Taylor for sharing. A shout out to Gustav. 6 months ago, he wasn't going to ride a bike again but he's back to his best. Oh yes, okay, that's actually a very cool story. So Gustav Poisson broke his leg last year, and he was actually not going to ever ride his bike again. So to see him riding at his best, right up there in this virtual fan race, it's great to see. So thanks for reminding me, Jamie. That was a great story. It's great to see Gustav Poisson back on his bike and back at his best and motivated to win races again. So well done, Gustav. It's good to see you back on top form. These comebacks. So sometimes a situation like that, when things get taken away from you, you actually learn how much you really want it. So it's sometimes motivating when, at the time when bad things happen, we don't really kind of see the value in terms of what it can actually project, but it actually sometimes motivates us more than ever to come back stronger and tougher, and it actually tells us, or we realize exactly what we want. So Kent Main, let's go back to the race here. We're getting very philosophical there. Sorry about that, but Kent Main pulling in his teammate Gustav Poisson, 170 meters behind Gustav Poisson at the moment. So that gap is coming down. We saw it come down and then kind of open up again, but Kent Main's got into his rhythm of 6 watts per kilo here, and he is slowly but surely pulling Gustav back. But is there enough road ahead of them for Kent to bring back his teammates? A case of wine, guys. There's a case of wine up for grabs. So definitely the case of wine motivating these riders today. Thank you to Duelhof Wine Estate for donating a case of wine per race. If you didn't get the coupon code earlier, I can give it to you. It might be in the comment section if someone has not shared it already. Oh, there we go. HB Kruger. Javier, thanks for sharing the coupon code. LD-0320. Duelhof Wine Estate. Go onto their website, purchase any wine, and you can get up to 50% discount on wine. LD-0320. Thank you for sharing, Javier. Jay Hennessy rides for Team Canyon DHB, powered by Sorin. Guys, reading was not my strong point at school. So Jay Hennessy, thanks for sharing, Javier, rides for Team Canyon DHB, powered by Sorin. Maybe that's a typo, but he is a continental cyclist, so he does race at a very high level. He finished in first place yesterday, just ahead of Javier Kruger. So thanks for sharing that. That's some good information. But we're back to the race here. Kent Main, will there be enough road ahead of him to catch up to Gustav Poisson? Only 100 meters behind Gustav Poisson at the moment. The race winner, or the guy leading the race at the moment, the French guy, G. Depries, he's annihilating the field. He went out very early on, and he has stayed ahead from the start. And he is just, I wouldn't say he's pulling a gap, but he's keeping it quite consistent. Gustav Poisson currently in second position, slowly bringing down that gap, but 30 k's into the race out of a total 33 kilometers. I think he's got it in the bag. I think this guy is going to win. Gustav Poisson, let's check him out here. He is currently riding 5.3 watts per kilo. 5.3 watts per kilo. We were going to tap into his kind of camera today, but I don't know. We didn't communicate properly and didn't quite get it set up. So it would be nice to see him suffering on his indoor trainer, like we saw Javier yesterday, suffering on his indoor trainer while he was busy racing. But Gustav Poisson currently in second position. That gap between Gustav and Kent staying consistent. So will there be enough road for Kent to catch up to Gustav? This is a teammate versus teammate race at the moment. Will they share their case of wine? Will Gustav share his case of wine with Kent? And if Kent catches up to Gustav when he attacks him, will Kent share his case of wine with Gustav? That's another question we need to ask these guys when they finish. There is an interview with Javier Kruger on ProTouch's Facebook page if you guys want to go have a look at his interview after yesterday's race to see how it went. But JP Lloyd holding his own. JP Lloyd from Team Office Guru Racing Under 23. He has stayed nice and consistent. He's staying in fourth place at the moment. Oh, this climb's absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. JP Lloyd showing that he knows how to time trial and putting in a good solid effort. Stayed quite consistent, just stayed quite consistent ahead of T. Hanlon. You can see that gap stayed anything between 190 and 200 meters ahead. So JP Lloyd putting in a good, solid effort to stay ahead of his UK rival there, T Hanlon. Jay Hennessy did yesterday's effort affect Hennessy from the UK? Yesterday's effort, he won yesterday's race. I think there's a little bit of a sting in the legs from yesterday's race. I think he might have also be done day one. So he, third day into a 5-day tour, 6th place, holding his own in 6th place. I think that's a very reasonable result at the moment if he manages to stay there. Going down the ranks here, staying consistent, Travis Barrett in 8th place, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner, out sprinting Clint Hendricks there from Team Bike Aid to take home the Cape Town Cycle Tour. Clint Hendricks, a previous winner of the Cape Town Cycle Tour, so some good pedigree there. A challenge, Clint Hendricks, wherever you are in the world. If you're in South Africa, if you're with your team in Germany, I think you guys are based in Germany, wherever you are around the world, come and race tomorrow. Day 4 and 5, Clint Hendricks, come and stick it to the boys here. Show these guys what you're made of. Travis Barrett beat you in the Cape Town Cycle Tour, but can you beat the Office Guru? I don't think Travis will ride tomorrow, but can you beat the Office Guru guys in a virtual race? Try and get an indoor smart trainer and come and stick it to these guys. Clint, come, I know you can, wherever you are in the world. If you're watching. Watching the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner. How far do we have to go? I think we're coming into the closing stages, guys. Let's getting a lot of messages in. Getting a lot of messages. Who's this guy? Oh, Javier just giving me some information about Jay Hennessy, the guy that beat him yesterday. So he has some credible results. So he's a definitely see from the results that he's definitely a sprinter. He's got some good results in a few sprinting races. So definitely a rider for the flats. You can see he's kind of down the ladder here. We're speaking about Jay Hennessy at the moment. So he is currently in 6th place. Javier Kruger just sent me a screenshot of his pro cycling stats profile, and we can see he's definitely a sprinter. So yesterday suited him a lot better than today's stage. I think he's still holding his own on the climbs. I must say he's putting in a massive effort just to still be 6th place, being a pure sprinter. I can show you his profile here on the screen. We're speaking about Jay Hennessy right now. You can see there, if you look at those graphs on the screen there, it tells you that he's a sprinter. So, well, his results come from sprinting races. 78 kilograms, 191. So quite a tall rider. So definitely one of those riders who have a lot of power on the flats. 191 centimeters, so he's very tall. So he's 78 kilograms, still lightish for how tall he is. That's still a very light weight, which is why he's probably holding his own on the climbs today. But so that's Jay Hennessy. Thanks for sharing, Javier. Some good information there. I'm sure we'll see him tomorrow and on day 5. So someone to get familiar with, because he is tomorrow and day 5's competition. JP Lloyd still in 4th position. T Hanlon, we saw him on day 1 and 2 coming back quite nicely on both stages. He's coming back again. He's coming back for JP Lloyd. T Hanlon, he was 150 meters behind JP Lloyd a couple of moments ago, but JP Lloyd, has he gone out too hard too soon? We saw JP Lloyd ahead of the race for the first part of the race today, and has he gone out too hard? Watts per kilo, 3.7, 4.9. Anything between, he knows he needs to keep his tempo up here. But the big question is, guys, this is coming down to the wire. 31.61 kilometers out of total 33. So we're coming into the last 2 kilometers for the race leader. But the question is it's going to be, for the case of Gilhoff 1 is between Gustav Pasonic and Kent Main at this stage. 77 meters between the 2 riders at the moment. I know they're teammates, but today they're rivals. They are trying to race each other. We're coming into the final stages of today's race. 2 kilometers to go for Gustav and Kent Main. Gustav Besson squeezing out the watts. Oh, this is getting exciting. Very exciting now, guys. Unbelievable. So Gustav now not putting in a big effort to stretch that gap out to 90 meters again. If these guys were on the road, Kent would see him like right there. If Kent just stood up and put in a big attack right now, he would be able to close that gap. But Gustav Besson squeezing out all the watts he can, and he's distancing himself from Kent Main. This is definitely an exciting race today. So Kent Main and Gustav Besson racing it out for the case of Duhoff wine. If Gustav wins, will he choose the white wine or the red wine? I'm guessing red. JP Lloyd now still in 4th place. JP Lloyd losing a little bit. No, he's putting in, clutching the system. Come on. Yes, yeah, we're on JP's wheel right now. So T Hanlon, JP moving down to 5th place. So T Hanlon went straight past JP Lloyd, didn't even wait for him 1 second, and now JP Lloyd has dropped down to 5th place. He is losing some ground to the guy behind him. You can see that gap dropping down as the race goes on. You can see the gap coming down slightly. So JP Lloyd losing some ground, might have gone out too hard in the beginning, but definitely at 20 years old, JP Lloyd has a lot to learn, and I think this is a good format of racing for him to get involved in. So thanks for coming on board, JP. Thanks for getting involved. You have a bright future ahead of you. The race leader at 32.25 kilometers into the race, almost 1K to go. You'll see him going under the 1 kilometer to go banner. 1 hour and 12 minutes into today's stage 3 of the Digital Tour de Suisse. Digital Tour de Suisse, that's the one. Digital Tour de Suisse 5. This is the fan race, guys. The pros finished in just under 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we are looking anything between 10 and 15 minutes longer than the pro race. Like I mentioned earlier, these guys are pushing anything between 1 and 1.2 watts less than the World Tour guys, from what I can notice. That is not a kind of a calculated fact, but from what I've noticed is these guys are pushing anything between 1 and 1.2 watts per kilo less than the World Tour guys. That's all that's in it. Between the fan race and the World Tour race, it's 1 watt per kilo. 1 watt per kilo. Gustav Besson in 2nd place. It is so close between Kent Main and Gustav Besson at this stage. They are almost going under the 1 kilometer to go banner. So this is the race leader going under the 1K to go. 1 kilometer to go for the race leader. G. Depries from France. Gustav Besson 500 meters behind him. So I think we do have the race winner today. He is pushing a good solid 5 watts per kilo at the moment, but I think he will be excuse me, he will be today's race winner. You can see as they're going up the climb, there's a little bit of snowfall, a little bit of ice. It shows that from the bottom to the top there has been a temperature change. So we in the higher part of altitude right now. We are going up into 2,227 meters. The guy started at 1,007. So if you were in Switzerland right now riding this exact route, you would have started at 1,000 meters above sea level, and you would have finished at 2,427 meters above sea level. Now, if you live in Johannesburg, you're anything between 1,500 and 1,700 meters above sea level. So if you compare that, the altitude. If these guys were in Switzerland right now, riding this exact route, there would be very little oxygen for them to breathe in. It would be very thin air, and they would be battling to breathe. So they are not there at the moment. So wherever they are is where the altitude is. I'm guessing Gustav is in Middelburg, which is at high altitude, if I'm not mistaken, and Kent Main, I'm guessing, is in Joburg. So Johannesburg, 1,500 meters behind sea level. I'm guessing JP Lloyd is also. So amongst the South African riders, there's not much in it. There's no one who's at sea level or at high altitude. If you're at sea level, the air is more dense, which means there's more oxygen in the air, which means you're able to push more power. So the guys at high altitude are at a disadvantage when it comes to these virtual races. But yeah, that's just a little bit of information for you there if you are quite technical. So 7% gradient going, is 9% gradient. So you can see this steep section just before the plateau at the end. We actually have JP Lloyd, so we quite far down. Sorry, so JP Lloyd, they're not at the finish. But if we go over to the race winner, well, the race leader, not the winner yet, you can see he's just reaching the plateau of the mountain, and there will be a little bit of a descent before the finish line. So there we go, guys. That's our race winner. We'll see him come across the finish line. But we see the catch. Kent Main has caught Gustav Passon, the teammates, in the last kilometer of the race. Gustav Passon has been caught by his teammate Kent Main. There's not much in it. They are going to be sprinting it out for the case of Jilhof wine. This is so exciting. Oh my word. It's actually getting my heart rate up. Wow, and Kent Main goes straight past Gustav Passon in the last kilometer of today's race. Can Gustav get onto the wheel? 7 meters in it. 7 in the last kilometer. This has been, like I mentioned earlier, Kent knows how to climb. He knows how to time trial. He knows how to judge his efforts. And he has gone from the flat part of this race onto the climb, and he's slowly worked his way back. And he is now in second position, putting in some distance between him and his teammate, Gustav Passon. Kent Main played this unbelievably. We did miss, from all that excitement, we did miss the first guy, the Frenchman, win the race. But this is the race for second. We are in the last kilometer of today's race. This is unbelievable. 540 meters to go. 500 meters to go until the finish line. Kent Main putting out a massive effort there. He is currently 35 seconds behind the race winner. I apologize for not cutting through to the winner of the race, but this race for the case of Jilhof wine, in the last kilometer, Kent Main has caught his teammate Gustav Passon and attacked him straight away and has put in 50 meters and growing. 50 meters, 60 meters. Kent Main going for the second spot, and I think Kent has it in the bag. He is going for the case of Jilhof wine. You can see him. They're almost at the finish line. 300 meters to go. Gustav Passon, I think he's actually, looks like he's given up because that gap is just growing. He's going from 2 watts per kilo back up to 5 watts per kilo, catching his breath a little bit there. Guys, but this has been an exciting. Kent Main catching his teammate Gustav Passon in the last kilometer of today's race to take home the case of Jilhof wine, winning by 150 meters. So this is third place. This is Gustav Passon. So Kent Main taking today's prize of a case of Jilhof wine. That is unbelievable. Well done, Gustav, finishing in third place there. Let's make our way down the ladder here. Once it gets reset there, we can click on another name. But that was exciting. Well done, Kent Main, winning today's prize of the case of Jilhof wine. We can choose white wine or red wine. We'll have to find out later on. But Kent, judging his effort well, started behind on the climb. I think it was 4th or 5th position at the start of the climb. Judging his effort, like I mentioned earlier, he knows how to climb. He knows how to judge his efforts. He's a time trial rider and he's a climber. And he pulled back his teammate Gustav Passon in the last kilometer of today's race. That was very exciting. So, guys, JP Lloyd holding his own from Team Office Guru Under 23 Racing Team. JP Lloyd in 6th position. I think he's going to manage to finish in 6th overall and round up the podium for the third place South African on today's race. Guys, today's race, this actually makes me excited for tomorrow. A shout out to all the South African cyclists, vets, under 23s, elites, doesn't matter what cyclist you are, come and join these riders and battle it out for the case of Jilhof wine. I know there's some vets that can actually rival the elites and under 23s. So, wow, guys, I just can't believe how exciting today's race was. Gustav Passon and Kent Main battling it out in the last kilometer. We are watching JP Lloyd's screen now. In terms of their time, if we look there, the race winner on today's stage finished in 1 hour and 13 minutes. And the World Tour Pros, if I'm not mistaken, finished in 1 hour and 5 minutes. It might have been a bit more, but you can see there within 10 minutes of the World Tour guys. So fan race, World Tour race, there's not much in it. There's about 10 minutes over an hour effort. So in a 33k race with a big climb, that's only 10 minutes. Oh, we see Travis Barrett coming back, yeah? Travis Barrett in 8th position overall. You can see he's slowly bringing back Jay Hennessy, but will he be able to finish it off? Will he be able to bring in Hennessy before the finish? Only 1.5Ks to go for Travis Barrett, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner from Team Office Racing Under 23, headed up by Jamie Taylor, the owner and runner of the Office Racing Under 23. Thanks for getting your riders involved, Jamie, and hopefully you can help us spread the word and get the word out there to get more South Africans on the start line tomorrow. We've gone from 2 South Africans on the first day starting the race. We've gone to 4 South Africans yesterday. Today there were 4, actually 4 as well. There were meant to be 6 riders that started today's stage. Unfortunately, Andrew Edwards from Team Office Guru Racing Under 23 and Callum Ormiston from Team Pro Touch Continental having some technical issues with their trainers and weren't able to start today's race. But the goal for tomorrow, 6 to 10 riders. We need 6 to 10 riders, guys. Get involved and start tomorrow's race. Only stage 4 and 5 left. Hopefully there'll be more of this racing coming up in the future. And Ruvi, the Ruvi platform promoting professional racing, professional cycling. And it's great to see a platform getting involved with brands like Velon and the UCI to promote world to promote cycling and cycling racing nonetheless on the world stage. So thank you to Ruvi and all the brands who have got involved. A very big thank you to Dualhof Wine for donating a prize and something to ride for. Definitely when Kent was catching Gustav in the last kilometer of today's ride, I'm sure he was thinking about that wine and how he's going to be sharing it with his friends and teammates. Well, with his teammates, that's a question. Does he share his wine with Gustav, his teammate? Does he share his wine with the teammate that he attacked and dropped in the last kilometer? Guys, thank you for an exciting race. Gustav and Kent, thank you for an exciting race. Office Guru Racing Under 23, thank you to you guys for coming on board and making this racing exciting. We have JP Lloyd here. How far has he got left? He has done 32.9 kilometers out of 33.54, so he's in the last kilometer of today's ride. I think we can say that he's going to finish in 6th position. Jay Hennessy 286 meters behind him. Don't think he'll be able to catch it up in the next 600 meters. So I think it's safe to say that JP Lloyd will finish in a good, solid position. And that's a very credible position. So well done to the 20-year-old JP Lloyd from Team Office Guru Racing Under 23, finishing in 6th place today. Guys, this racing is brutal. Racing on an indoor trainer in a virtual world like this, it's pretty much a time trial effort. So hats off to the athletes coming on board and getting involved and putting in the effort. Today was a lot longer. Well, it was about 15 minutes longer than day 1 and day 2. So these guys suffered slightly longer than the athletes that took part in the last 2 days. But thank you for getting involved. Thank you for putting in the effort, guys. It's great to see the athletes making a difference and showing that that not being able to race outdoors, they're still willing to stick it out and race in a virtual world. So thank you to the athletes. Thank you to the teams getting involved as we see JP Lloyd coming into the finish. 300 meters to go for JP. Travis Barrett not too far behind him. The question is, will Travis Barrett catch Jay Hennessy, the winner of yesterday's race, the continental cyclist from the UK? Let's just see JP Lloyd come in here. I'm going to switch screens just before he comes over the line so it doesn't glitch. So 50 meters to go. I'm going to cross over. So well done to JP for finishing in 6th place. This is Jay Hennessy. I didn't want to see JP go over the line because it does actually stop and then reset you. So what I wanted to see was Travis Barrett coming from behind, seeing Jay Hennessy there. He's closing the gap. He needs to put in a big attack to drop Hennessy in the final kilometer. In the final 500 meters, Travis Barrett working his way up here. 5 watts per kilo. He's going to have to go straight past him. The only way to go past him is to attack him. Oh, Jay Hennessy putting in a big attack, 6 watts per kilo. 6.4 watts per kilo. It's in the last 500 meters. This is for 7th place, guys. 7th place. Jay Hennessy. Oh, the sting in the legs. Travis Barrett, the Cape Town Cycle Tour winner. Sting in the legs. Oh, Jay Hennessy knows Travis was coming from behind. And he has dropped Travis in the last 500 meters, 400 meters of today's race. Travis Barrett worked his way up slowly but surely to Jay Hennessy And well done, Travis. That was a great effort. Great effort to bring back Jay Hennessy. But Jay Hennessy putting in like we saw earlier, he's a sprinter. So in the last 300 meters, he put in a big attack and managed to just put in. Oh, Travis Barrett putting a big effort there, 9 watts per kilo, 10 watts per kilo, putting in a big sprint. And there we go, Travis Barrett finishing in 8th place. Well done, lad. So guys, all the South Africans that started today, out of the professional teams, Alpha Screw Racing and Pro Touch Continental finished in the top 10. We had a 2nd place, we had a 3rd place, a 6th place, and an 8th place. Well done, guys. Thank you for getting involved. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Stage 4 and 5 still on the cards for Saturday and Sunday, tomorrow and Sunday. A shout out to everyone to get involved, everyone watching. Get on your trainers. If you have a smart trainer, get involved and come and enjoy the fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. And guys, thank you to Dualhof Wine for making that prize available for each day, a case of wine for the best placed South African. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.